feedback from our peers and subordinates in your case, but then also we need feedback from clients, something to let us know positive or negative.
Good point.
But all of this is wrapped in the package of we need
Welcome
growth.
to the Howie and Beastmode podcast, where we discuss all things business, including growth, strategy, and execution, as well as personal and professional development. Let's join Howie and Beastmode in conversation.
Even though it might seem like you're invisible.
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
Keep unpacking it.
You've gone out of your way, and some people might say from the outside, well, you're not getting, you're not making millions of dollars out of this process yet. And that's because you chose to lead with value and not worried as much about visibility. It's like, okay, so the visibility of this situation is something that I have some aspirations for the future, but I'm going to lead with, I'm going to be other-minded. I'm going to be other-centric in my approach. I'm going to go seek to provide value, and then the visibility from the market will eventually come. And I know you're seeing signs of that already, but it did take a little bit before that traction started to happen. So people have to have a little bit of patience when they say, I'm going to go add value in business. I'm going to go add value in my workplace. It does take a while for that to become visibility. If you lead with visibility, then you come across as wanting credit for everything. If you lead with visibility, you come across as wanting sort of like selfish or immature or impatient, right? We've all seen people who are greedy or impatient or really, really vocal when they haven't really added value. But what you've done in your business is you flipped it. You said, I'm not seeking a lot of visibility right now. I'm not seeking a lot of attention or credit right now. I'm going to go provide the maximum amount of value. And the thing is, like in the universe, last summer, we talked about the tribes. One of my favorite little sort of like discoveries that we've had on this podcast is like, when you feed the tribe will eventually respond to that because the tribe trusts you that you're not selfish with your resources or with your whatever. You going back to like early mankind with like in the hunt, the competent hunter who would bring back game and would share would then feed the tribe, and the tribe would give visibility and would give honor, and you'd be able to extract value from the tribe later. But you had to provide something first. You had to take the kill down and provide that back to the tribe. And so it's almost like what we know about humanity and about psychology is actually supporting what you're doing in your business right now. Is like you're providing value to our tribe, to a wide group of people in an unselfish way and in a very powerful way. And you're not concerned about the visibility part of it. And I'm just saying that people in their career can do that too, where they aren't getting visibility. Maybe they're new, or maybe they've been there for a while and they're not getting promoted. They're not having raises. They're not having whatever. I think what you can control in that equation is like, if you just raise your hand and ask for money all the time, or you're vocal about yourself and you're defending yourself all the time, you can become pretty annoying versus just analyzing and saying, what can I really do to break some eggs and make an omelet and make something special and add extra value and bring that value to the tribe, right? And then the tribe will pay you back eventually.
Yeah, and this really started based on a thought that I had that I shared with you about the invisibility, the feeling of invisibility that's not equal to your value. And so we've just kind of been ruminating on this back and forth, and we want to make sure that nobody feels invisible in this conversation. And so we want to make sure we relate it all across the board, and it can be. And so men, we know that sometimes you can feel invisible when you're trying to talk to somebody of the opposite gender. You can feel invisible. We know that at work you can feel invisible on your team. We know that if you're a business owner or a leader, you can feel invisible versus your competition. And so you can feel invisible all across these platforms. And what Howie's dropping knowledge on is that if we just focus on providing value, so if we stop focusing on trying to get the girl's attention and just focus on being funny or we just focus on being who we are, we're providing value to that relationship. If we focus on, hey, I'm instead of trying to be, team lead or whatever, if I just focus on, just like you shared a story before of, hey, I had no aspirations of being a supervisor, but I just started helping everybody out. And then eventually I became that. I'm just providing value to my team and I just got elevated, or same thing. I know you're using the example of JL and what we're doing. And again, we're going so far as to stay out of the visibility frame is because we don't want to muddle the value at all. We only want you to see the value, and we really want you to search for us. We want you to search to get that aspect of it, because that's not the important part at the moment. We want you to grasp the enormity of the value, and then the visibility will just happen.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, there's so much here, as far as unpacking what people get stuck in if they're new in their career, or if they've got some baggage, which everybody's got some baggage, but certain kinds of baggage where they feel like they're not appreciated, they're not recognized, or there's bias in the workplace, and so they're not having the same attention as somebody else who has a certain advantage. I'm not saying those disadvantages are not there, because that's true. There are biases in the workplace, but it's like, what can you control? And what you can either be vocal about the bias or vocal about the disadvantage, which could come across as not the most attractive thing for you, or you can just double down on value and double down on feeding the tribe something. What's the tribe hungry for? Look around. I mean, there's probably there might be a tribe member who has who stepped on a rock and they've got a bloody foot, right? Maybe how to clean that wound and patch it up better than anybody else in the tribe, right? So it doesn't have to be go out and hunt for the kill or bring in new business or whatever you want to do. The crossover analogy is it could be encouraging somebody, right? I mean, that's my way of mapping to like someone who bloodies their foot, and if you go back to tribal days. But like, what about encouraging someone? What about every week you're going to write a handwritten note to somebody, to a customer and to somebody inside the company, and tell them what you appreciate. I mean, the ideas of value are as infinite as in our last series, what we talked about as the types of seed there are that you can plant, right? Just think about, and one of the things that we talk about in this podcast a lot, and sometimes on LinkedIn, is operationalizing goodness. So what can you operationalize instead of just doing it once, right? What can you operationalize regularly to add value? And frankly, people will start thinking of you in that category.
Yes. No, I just had the thought, I think some of this can spur from a cultural mindset. And so as you were talking, I started to have the thought of the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Now, from one aspect, we think that's cool. Like, hey, I want to be the squeaky wheel because I want to get the attention. I want to get my problem solved or whatever. But if you're the one applying the grease, that squeaky wheel is annoying. That squeaky, you're silencing it not out of a joy, but you're silencing it out of a desperation to remove the nuisance. And so we are encouraging, I think, a new mindset, a new shift, a new truth, as you talked about in our last series, when we're kind of cultivating these new truths. And maybe this new truth is the truth that needs to be about value. We're providing, we're seeking to be valuable, we're seeking to add value, we're seeking to find valuable things to be to put our foot forward in, as opposed to being the loud or the obnoxious or the one constantly raising a hand, and just be there.
Yeah, focus on value over visibility.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
It really does work. I mean, it's literally how I got my first management job. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So this is a topic that I know that we're going to unpack, and we really just wanted to spend this episode really just planting a seed. I know we just spent 4 episodes talking about sowing seeds. We want to plant a seed about, after you listen to this 20 minutes, and maybe you go back and re-listen to it again, think about an area where I can start adding value. You can start adding value that you're not currently doing, and allow that, and do it for a week and see what the return is. Again, we're going to go back to our sowing and reaping, but see if we can sow a seed of value and allow that to come to fruition versus, and again, testing versus a seed of, the squeakiness.
Love it. Yep.
So I think we're gonna spend some time talking about the feeling of invisibility. We're gonna spend some time talking about visibility and kind of maybe some lies out there about that. And I think we'll capsulate with just value tips, how to be valuable. And so I'm excited for this. And so just stick with us.
You're reaching more people for better or for worse than you can realize. You have no way of knowing in your job, in your business, in your career, and let alone in your friends, you have no idea the impact that you're making. So you need to take it seriously. You need to understand and believe that, right? Let's all think, I'll give you an example, right? That friend of yours who they had a really messy divorce, right? How many people did that impact, right? Oh, it's just going to impact him. He's going to go have a fling or whatever it may be, right? No, that impacted a lot of people negatively, right? What about, here's one for you, that video of the New York, person who in the busy street stopped traffic to walk the old lady across the street, and literally like stopped traffic and helped her across with her walker, right? How many people did that impact when people saw it, right? Thousands, maybe more than thousands. So my point is, like, you have a constant ability in your visibility that you may not realize, but you are making a difference one way or the other. And this comes down to career and to personal, or in matters of faith, if you have that persuasion like me and Beastmode do, but you are making a difference, and you are broadcasting something one way or the other. But we do want to encourage you through the series that you are making a difference. Just think about that difference and believe on it, count on it, and plan for it with adding value.
I love it. So we're excited to unfold this one. You guys be checking it out. Be ready for it to drop on YouTube here in a couple of weeks. And we will see you guys so very soon.
So there's either the whole listening, which is like 5 things, right? Or it's this process of executing your business with customer empathy.